You know, it's amazing how good AI's gotten at math these days, right? Like solving stuff I used to struggle with back in high school, even proving some of those geometry things.
Yeah, the progress has been pretty incredible. But it's getting even more interesting because researchers are starting to see what AI can do with like way harder math problems.
Exactly, and that's what we're diving into today, frontier math. Basically, it's a whole set of crazy new math problems, so
Mm.
hard they would make even a math professor's sweat a little.
It's like the ultimate test for what AI can do with math, Because the old tests, the benchmarks we use, they're getting kind of easy for AI now.
So they need a new challenge, something to really push the limits.
Yeah, push the limits. And that's where frontier math comes in. Over 60 mathematicians, some who have won like the biggest math prizes you can win, they all got together to make these problems.
Wow, 60 of them. That's a lot of brain power. You can tell these problems are going to be, like, seriously tough.
The idea was to make problems that you can't just brute force with a computer. You need deep knowledge, got to be creative, and even have a bit of intuition. The things that, well, until now, we thought only humans could do.
I read that the frontier math problems, they're all designed to be solved with code. Is that right?
That's right. Most of the answers are numbers or stuff you can write down using this thing called the SIMPy Mathematical Library.
Okay, I'm not a coder, so could you explain like why that's important? What's the point of making them code solvable?
Two reasons, really. First, it means you can grade the AI automatically, so it's super fair, no bias.
Ah, so it's like a level playing field for all the different AIs out there.
Exactly. But the second reason's even cooler, I think. It's like how real mathematicians actually work.
Oh, how so?
Well, lots of mathematicians use code to test their ideas, look for patterns, that kind of thing. So giving AI these problems and saying, solve it with code, it's kind of like making them act like research assistants.
That's fascinating. So it's not just about AI solving problems by itself. It's more like, can AI work with humans, help us discover new math?
You got it. And as AI gets smarter, who knows how powerful that teamwork could become, right?
Hmm.
Leading to all sorts of breakthroughs.
Okay, I'm hooked. But let's get specific. What kind of math are we talking about in frontier math?
It's a whole mix. Stuff from number theory, primes, patterns in numbers, all the way to algebraic geometry, which is like shapes and equations.
Sounds pretty intense already.
Ugh.
Could you maybe give us a taste of what one of these problems is actually like, just so we can wrap our heads around it?
Sure. One of them has to do with something called Artin's primitive root conjecture. Basically, it's about how many prime numbers have a certain property, and the answer, it's this crazy big number, 3,677,073.
Whoa, okay. I'm not even going to pretend to understand that. But it sounds like figuring that out took some serious mathematical firepower.
And that's just one. There's another one where you got to build a really specific, think of it like a math recipe. It's called a polynomial. And then you got to calculate what it equals at a certain point.
Sounds like a math treasure hunt. You got to figure out the steps, then actually do them perfectly.
Yeah. And they're not messing around with the difficulty either. Each problem has a rating, like how much background you need, how creative you got to be to solve it, even how long it takes to calculate.
So even for like the best mathematicians, these could take hours to figure out.
Absolutely. Which kind of brings us to the reality check. Even the best AIs out there, they can only solve a tiny fraction of frontier math, less than 2%.
Wow, less than 2%. So even with all the progress AI's made, it seems like there's still a giant gap between, the human brain and the computer brain when it comes to this high-level math.
That's right. And it really makes you think, why is AI having so much trouble? What are the things it needs to get better at?
And even bigger, maybe? Does this tell us something about how humans think about math that's just totally different from how AI works?
Now, those are some questions we're going to keep digging into in the next part of this deep dive.
So we know frontier math is seriously hard, and AI still has a lot to learn before it's like, replacing mathematicians. But why is that? What exactly is making it so tough for these AI systems?
Well, for one thing, these problems weren't designed to be easy, right? They're pulled from the most cutting-edge math research, stuff that even expert human mathematicians are still trying to figure out.
Right, so it's not like the AI is messing up simpler algebra. This
Yeah.
is like way beyond that, stuff that takes years of studying just to even understand the basics.
Exactly. It's not about just crunching numbers or using formulas. It's about really deep reasoning, logic, connecting ideas that seem totally different. That's stuff that, well, with our years of training, humans are still much better at than AI.
So it's more than just how fast a computer can calculate, right? It's the quality of the thinking, the intuition you get from years of working in. Like, a specific area of math.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads to another big issue, the lack of data. See, these frontier math problems are from such niche areas of math. There's not a lot of data out there for AI to learn from.
Ah, that makes sense. I guess AI is great at finding patterns when it has tons of data, but if there isn't much to go on.
It struggles, yeah. It's almost a catch-22. AI needs data to learn, but the data it needs barely exists because these problems are so new, no one's really explored them much.
It makes you wonder, is there something fundamentally different about how humans think about math? Something that just hasn't been figured out for AI yet?
That's a big question that people have been debating for a long time. But for AI researchers, the goal is clear. They got to build algorithms that learn and reason more like how humans do, which, is easier said than done.
Okay, but let's imagine for a second that AI does figure this out, that it cracks frontier math. What could that mean for the rest of us? Like, we hear so much hype about AI changing everything, but what could it actually do, in a practical way?
Well, the possibilities are pretty huge. One thing is, it could help us solve those big math problems that have been stumping us for centuries, the ones that are still unanswered.
So not just new problems, but the old mysteries, too.
Exactly. And a lot of those problems, they connect to other fields. So solving them could mean big discoveries in physics, engineering, even medicine.
So it's not just about math for math's sake. Solving these problems could have ripple effects, leading to breakthroughs in other areas, which eventually could impact all our lives.
Exactly. And beyond that, AI could help us make totally new mathematical tools. Imagine it analyzing huge amounts of data, finding patterns humans wouldn't see, even suggesting new areas of math to explore.
So AI wouldn't just be solving problems. It would be helping us ask better questions, leading to whole new fields of math.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting. If AI can do that, who knows what kind of crazy discoveries and innovations might happen, right?
That's all super exciting, but we've got to be realistic too. What about the risks? We talked about the challenges, the potential good stuff, but what could go wrong if AI gets too involved in this high-level math?
One worry is transparency, definitely. As these AI systems get more complicated, it gets harder to understand how they reach their solutions.
So it's not enough for AI to just give the right answer. We need to see how it got there, its logic. Otherwise, how can we trust it?
Exactly. Especially in math, we got to be able to check that the AI solution is valid based on solid math principles. If we can't, it's like building a house of cards. The whole thing could fall apart.
Makes sense. Transparency is important everywhere, but
Yeah,
with math, you really need that rigor, that logical certainty.
exactly. And that leads to another concern, how this might change the field of math itself. Some people worry that if AI gets too good at solving these problems, it'll devalue the work of human mathematicians.
The old fear of robots taking our jobs, right? Will mathematicians be out of a job if AI can do everything?
It's a fair question, yeah. But I think it's more likely that AI will just become another tool for mathematicians, like a really powerful calculator. They'll handle the boring stuff, the long calculations, freeing up humans to focus on the big ideas.
So it's more of a collaboration, not AI versus humans. AI can help us see it further, think deeper, but it's still humans guiding the process.
Exactly. And that's where the real excitement lies. This partnership between humans and AI that could lead to breakthroughs we can't even imagine right now.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time in the weeds, talking about frontier math, how hard it is, what could happen if AI solves it. But let's zoom out for a sec. If AI really could do this, handle these crazy math problems, what could that actually mean for the world outside of, just the world of math itself?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And honestly, it's got researchers in all sorts of fields pretty excited because you got to realize math is like the foundation for so many things, physics, chemistry, even economics. It's all built on math.
It's kind of like the secret language of the universe or something.
Yeah, exactly. So if AI can help us understand math better, faster, it could unlock all kinds of breakthroughs in how we see the world and solve real problems.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued now. Give me an example, like paint a picture. How could this actually play out in the future?
Well, think about something like cryptography. Keeping our data safe online, making sure financial transactions are secure.
Yeah, crucial stuff these days.
Totally. And all that relies on super strong encryption, which is based on, you guessed it, complex math. But as hackers get smarter, we need even better encryption, even more advanced math to stay ahead.
So we need AI to help us come up with, the next level of math to keep our data safe.
That's the idea. AI working with human experts, designing new ways to encrypt stuff that are basically unbreakable. That would totally change the game for cybersecurity, make the whole internet safer.
That's a good one. Any other examples where this AI math power could make a big difference?
Oh, tons. Logistics is another huge one. Think about all the supply chains, deliveries, transportation networks. It's mind-bogglingly complex.
Yeah, and all that relies on, like, optimizing routes, predicting demand, which I'm guessing uses a ton of math behind the scenes.
You got it. And AI can make those systems way more efficient, cheaper to run, even better for the environment. Faster deliveries, less traffic, lower carbon footprint, all because AI is crunching the numbers in a way humans just can't.
So it's not just theoretical head in the cloud stuff. This is about using AI to solve real problems that affect all of us.
Totally. And we're just scratching the surface here. There are so many potential uses for AI-powered math, it's kind of hard to even grasp.
It's exciting, for sure, but it also makes you think, this is a lot of power we're talking about. We got to be careful with it, right?
Absolutely. Like we've been saying, there are ethical questions here that can't be ignored. Making sure AI is developed and used for good, that it benefits everyone, that's super important.
Yeah, we can't just throw powerful tools out there without thinking about the consequences, unintended or otherwise.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance, embracing the potential while being aware of the risks.
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say this deep dive has given us a lot to think about. Frontier math, it's clearly more than just some hard math problems. It's a glimpse into the future, what might be possible when we combine human ingenuity with AI.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, who knows? Maybe someone listening to this will be inspired to jump into this world, help shape how this all plays out, right?
That's a great thought. So to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of frontier math. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the limits of what we can achieve.